Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Grief is the normal response to a major loss, such as death of a loved one. Whatever type of loss one has suffered, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Welcome to Umesh Shah Presents Sunday Life and Learn Talks. Our speaker today is Thulasi Manogaran, who will be talking about coping with grief and loss. Tulsi is a certified NLP practitioner. She strongly believes in creating an ardent belief system through positive thoughts. Tulsi is well qualified to talk about grief and is a grief counselor. Tulsi, the mic is all yours.
Thank you so much, Umesh, for the wonderful opportunity. Truly appreciate that. And a happy day to all of you. And wherever you're joined, it shows that how much that you really value this part of the session itself. Thank you so much for that. I'm Tulasi here. I'm going to share the presentation. And before that, I would like to also you to make yourself being seated comfortably, just relax. And as a content, you'll be getting a lot of information about the session. Just feel free to ask me questions at any point in time. I will also be scheduling a Q&A session that particular time that I'll be able to answer. If in case you feel that it has to be answered, that something very important come up in your way, please go forward, and we are all yours, and it's meant session is meant for all of us. So let's make this a very interesting and interactive session as well. So with no further ado, I just want to start then. Let me know if you're able to see the presentation.
Yes, it's
Wonderful.
visible.
Wonderful. So thank you so much again and again, because grief is not such a very easy topic. No, people, not just people, all of us, we do grieve at many point in time. Just as some grief leaves a very emotional scar, and sometimes we find that we are in a very irrevocable state of mind as well. Something bothers us inside of mind. And what are those losses? What are those griefs? Let's explore together. So I use all the learnings that I've been doing. I would like to introduce myself also as a perpetual learner. I keep learning many things, and for all that I do, there must be why, no? There must be some purpose, isn't it? For what I'm actually doing for all these things. I'll share my personal story as well. So I found coping with grief and loss itself is an opportunity for all of us to really, you know, see grief in a different perspective. It's not grief to be really viewed as something scary or something that we have to hide about. It's just very similar to a birth as well. But let's go and dive in deep. So, grief is the response to loss, particularly loss of someone or some living thing that has died, to which a bond of affection. So, the first and the foremost principle that I would like to reiterate the fact over here is that grief is nothing but the degree of love. The degree of love is more, then your grief is also higher. So, the grief is nothing but the depth of the love that you have for that person. But before we go on further, but let's understand what loss could be. So, in your opinion, how do you think this loss could occur? If you're interested to interact through chat as well, you're most welcome. So, in your opinion, how loss could occur? Can somebody throw some light? Just give me some points.
You are welcome to write on the chat, and
Yes,
Chelsea will be able to read it.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, death. Rohini says yes. Death. Anything else? Lack of physicality. Wonderful, Rohini. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Rohini. So let's just explore what could loss be. Many of us think loss just of their loved one, but it can also be a death of a pet, a divorce, a breakup, loss of health, losing a job, miscarriage happens, retirement, family members' illness. If somebody is ill in the family, the whole family will go for a toss. It's a very chaotic environment, and loss of friendship, loss of safety, and selling family home, moving to another place, changing jobs, and change of course. There could be many, many more. And this global pandemic, we have witnessed how the loss could be. We were so unsure what is going to happen next moment. At this moment, we all surviving or grieving over the loss of the people who have lost in the transition. But are these the only ones? What about the attributes? Let's look at the attributes as well. There are many other losses related to the attributes. One, if you have an excellent plan, but that plan is not working out, don't you think you will be left with the disparity? When there is a loss of hopes, there's a loss of dreams for the future. These are all loss. Sometimes we are not able to even express it. We say they keep dismissing such losses. There could be loss of relationships, good friendship that would be already highlighted. But what about the relationship? Loss of religious beliefs. If something happens in a family, we tend to lose the religious beliefs itself. Oh, this won't happen. There is no God at all. We have arrived at such conclusions as well. Loss of role. Maybe a mother has lost her son. She loses the role of her mothership itself. So for her, motherhood is something. My son itself is not there. What am I doing over here? Why should I even survive? So there's loss of role can happen. Loss of safety. They feel very unsafe in the environment to even really look into the situation. And loss of treasured objects. Something that you treasure for ages, it's been in their family and you lost it. That is also a loss. Loss of body function, as Rohini stated, yes, lack of physicality, lot of body function as well. Body image, and this body has completely changed itself. So you feel this body is no more the same, especially for women prior to their marriage and after the marriage, and especially after begetting the children, the body completely changes. Or maybe due to surgery. Loss of control. You had a control on certain things. Could you please mute? Thank you, sir. Loss of control, loss of freedom. You used to have a lot of freedom, but suddenly you sense there is no freedom. That's where we started feeling this vacuum and emptiness. Loss of identity. You don't know. Maybe you had an identity. Maybe you were working in an office, but something happened that now you don't know how to even call yourself as. That identity is completely lost. I am what? That lost. That's more pertaining to a loss of a job or loss of a role, loss of independence, loss of innocence. I was so innocent, happily smiling and running about. But see, now I'm just growing. I'm being forced to, I'm being compelled to do some work for time being, for survival. I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not happy about it. I think I'm losing my innocence. This could also happen. Loss of job, loss of income, loss of place, and there are many others as well. Okay. So, what is the best resource do you think it is needed for this session? Can anybody guess? It is a resource a child has. Okay. And we have to, yeah, losing a job. Yes. Ourselves. Yeah. What is that resource that you need to have right now for me to continue with the session? I see everybody. Okay. All right. Support. Okay. Yeah. We need support of each other. What else? It's the resource of a child. It's a child's best resource. Now, can you guess what it could be? Okay. Uh-huh. Resilience. Okay. Interesting. Love. Beautiful. Very happy to see all the responses. Thank you so much. Now, see, the child's best resource is the resource of curiosity. Shall we just invite I'll keep up this resource of curiosity to get into the session with lots of open-mindedness. Let's see. Yeah, adaptability is needed, love is needed, resilience is needed, support of a mom is needed. How much even death need not be a death. Okay. What happens to an emotion neglect? You feel a loss, isn't it? That is also a loss. Let's keep exploring little by little with the resource of curiosity. Nothing here to judge anybody, but just that we are going to travel. Let's see what comes up for us. Okay, now let's also explore some of the emotional reactions. So, the physical symptoms is something that anybody can see because it's mentally what we are going through. Probably, maybe very close one will be able to just identify, but not everybody, right? That's why behavioral psychology came into being. So, they said you can't study the mind fully. I'm not very sure about how your mind functions, but I need to ask a lot of questions for that. But it is that your behavior I'll be able to find out and see. So the emotional reactions to any grief or loss will be the person tends to be very sadness, anger, anxious, guilt. There could be some guilt. In the guilt, there is also another type is called as toxic guilt, which people know they underestimate the value of toxic guilt. That means we have the guilt. That means something that we have done and we feel guilty about it. We are ashamed of it, or we don't feel very we really feel very embraced about it. But something on toxic guilt is something that you need not be responsible for that at all. But someone did something, but we tend to believe that it is because of me. That's how it has happened. So it's called as toxic guilt. Relief, it could be a relief as well. Yeah, it could be some fear, but all this fear will be exhibited in form of emotional reactions. And once again, loneliness, people tend to be, they feel even that emptiness. Instead of loneliness, also we can just rename it as emptiness. It could be helplessness, hopelessness, earning something. Let me just crave. I have a craving for love and support from the people. Will I be getting it? Have you sensed this? Have you been in such situations where you really earn for people's support? You really wish that something could happen and you're in the safe hands. You feel being heard. Does it happen? Yes, sadness, suffering, depression. Yeah, and shock. When shock comes, numbness also comes along with it. Now let's see the physical reactions. What happens to physically? What really happens is the person might get a lot of headaches. Have you seen people complaining of frequent headaches, nausea, dry mouth, muscle tension will be there, shortness of breath, chest pains, stomach ache, and much more, loss of appetite. That's why we need to make sure that the person who's grieving, we have to ask and being empathic with them, ask them, are they taking water? How is their sleep pattern? Are they able to drink water? Just offer them a glass of water so that this dry mouthness wouldn't be there. Right now, we are exploring some of the physical reaction, emotional reactions, and the behavior reactions as well. For people, we are all different. Okay, we process grief itself in a different ways. Some people might be extremely fatigued, and cognitively, what happens is a lot of confusion comes. What happens to my future? I'm so anxious. Those worries start coming up to the people, and disbelief. Why should I believe in somebody? I believe in person, but the person is no more. So let there be disbelief. Dreams of the lost person. They keep dreaming about the lost person. It is very natural. There is nothing to tell them they're not supposed to come in your dreams. No, our subconscious mind always process things as we store up these memories. So when we are with people, relationship matters, isn't it? So we always collect a lot of memories about the person, and they all we get value to them, and we give value to them, and then we get it stored in our subconscious mind. So it automatically just goes in. So when the person is not there, or something that you've lost, something is missing, then we always have those dreams that, oh, as if you're being with that person, or as if you're being to a favorite place of them. So it could be natural. And preoccupation with the loss, all the time thinking that I've lost. And that also could be suicidal thoughts. So especially when in times of people losing their job or losing their family members. So all those people, losing of property, losing of money, being betrayed or cheated, all this are being abused. No, all these people will have more of a suicidal thoughts, and they also get into depression. So depression is a state wherein you will feel that there is no other choice available to me. This was the only choice was available, but now I no more see any choices. So what is the use? I see nothing happen, nothing is going to change, is hopeless again, being helpless, and they have more of a suicidal thoughts. But this cognitive reactions, we need to be physically being present with them, then we'll be able to figure out. And how their behavior will be more on, so socially they'll be withdrawn. They would not like to be with people, so they wanted to be withdrawn. They prefer to be lonely. Abnormal, maybe sometimes abnormal behavior also comes, like throwing tantrums or hitting. They can also do self harms and change in the activity level also. They avoid. Sometimes you have uh, you actually visit a place, but that place you have a very bad memory about it, then you might tend to avoid such places, so that you don't want to get into a negative thought, or probably it is not for you to really process, because all these negative thoughts or any emotional scars which you've already felt, now if you're going to feel it again, we have this fear that if I'm going to take it back again, oh my god, then it's again back to one, square one, I have to restart again. So much of tremendous efforts has to be taken, especially at the conscious level, so people tend to avoid them. Unusual focus of the reminders of the loss. So unusual focus of the reminders. So usually there will be focus, but this time when the person is absolutely missing, or some object is absolutely missing, or something that they valued or loved so deeply is not there, not there. That means they start to think about the person more and more. And then they might do self-harm. They think that it is because of me something happened, so that comes under the toxic guilt that I was talking referring to earlier. Might be a become a forgetful. They don't remember many things. They say, I forgot, I don't know. Because they're not in the present, isn't it? So forgetfulness is very natural for them. So far, how is it going for you? Are you able to follow what's happening? Yeah, detachment avoidance, yes. Shock paralysis, yes. The very good points. Okay, now I assume that is going on a free flow. Now, these are also the celebrities, very famous celebrities. Uh, when I was doing grief counseling course, I just happened to see a lot of film personalities. That's out of my own self-interest. So I started seeing how these film personalities, they process grief, because as a child artist, they get into the industry, right? When they get into the industry, there are a lot of other scenes would also be simultaneously shot, like death or suicide or some criminal gun shooting. All those things, events can be planned and being shot, but however there'll be people around it. But as a child, how these people will be able to process? If you happen to have some time, please watch Rendezvous with Simi Gerwal, especially with Rekha, Sarika and Jayalalitha ma'am. So you'll be able to find the pattern in them. So at an early stage, what generally happened to her is, psychological background is that the grief is not that suddenly it has come. Grief is very powerful and a complex emotion. We all have that. As a child, how these people have processed it will also reflect in a later part of the time. So almost all of them, or in many other fields, also tend to show up that there are a lot of having issues with trust, self-control. There are a lot of other issues came up. So childhood also play a very significant role when you talk about the grief. Everything is associated in the child, because as a child all of us memories are being stored in the subconscious mind, and we process information only with the reference to that particular context. Now the many feelings of loss itself, it could be anxious, it could be guilt. Some people get very angry, some people feel very empty, maybe they're longing for love. They see today is not a good day, but maybe tomorrow. For some people it happens, they may become hopeful. For some people, no, it's exhaustion. How many times I keep on thinking about it, keep on thinking about it, hours, days, weeks, months and years. Finally they feel so exhausted. For some of them, don't feel is one of the criteria they also tend to believe in. So they see, like, why should I feel this pain, no? Like the people I've showed in the previous slide, as a child artist, they don't want to process. They feel like, what is this? This is very normal. Oh, death, somebody dying, that is seen to be shot. Many, all of the people, and they know that the person who's going to just act and not the real death, but the sound, the background, the impact definitely leaves a significant impact in the mind of a child, or even for the adult for that matter. So that they might numb the feelings. They don't want to feel it. Why should I feel it? And there could be sadness, there could be, yes, they exhibit through crying, it's a behavior, yes, very nice. And detachment avoidance also, there are a lot of other emotions also can come up, whatever that so this is all being a compilation. Okay, now they can also feel helpless. There will be a lot of sadness. For some people it could be relieved. How it could be a relief? Because if somebody you have in your family, they're ailing, and you're helping them in the transition, and finally they've transited, so that time the family may feel relieved, but they can't say it, no, I'm feeling relieved because my mother was suffering and my father was suffering, it's good that she passed away. That's a different story, but the family can also have the sense of getting relieved as well. Okay, now I'll give a little context about myself and how I came for this work. Yeah, so uh, I was the eldest of the family, so all that I believed was only one thing, that education is the only tool which is going to change my life. That's how something came up as a belief. I'm very happy that I hold the belief and made it true. So in India, there are a lot of other beliefs. There are many other beliefs, but there's one thing that we are being brought up is that all the women, once they grow, they at least they study, they get a graduation, but after that they have to get married and go. So that's what very customary. So, so did it happen in my life as well. So I got married and I lived a very happy life. My spouse was excellent person, very kind-hearted, hardworking, and we had two children. But it didn't last for long. And one fine day, he was doing some business, so he had to travel from one state to another state. So while he was traveling to for his work, I lost him in a road accident. That was very shocking for me. And because the next day only I heard the news. So he was traveling all the day and night. By the time I heard the news, I was already having one 2-year old son and 1 month baby. And it was very hard for me. The first impact that came to me was that the news is not true. How can it be so true? So a lot of things I started rejecting. So the first stage I came to was in a shock. It was terrible shock. No words to say. Nothing will happen. I can't do anything. First the shock. What? What are you saying? I kept on asking my sister-in-laws, what are you saying? So that's something I had. Then I started denying the fact. No, 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 it can't happen. Come, we'll go to the hospital and see. It can't happen. Because I had only 1 month old baby, just a month before I had a delivery. I was so weak to even stand. So such a loss. And that came as a shock. And further on, I'm being denying the facts. But finally, I got so much angry. The anger could also be shown as her crying. Uh, Now I'm just being bold enough to share what my story is, but that time it was not so easy. And started bargaining. Why should I leave? He's such a nice person. He must be there for his parents. What I'm going to do for my children? His father was not even for the school education. Not even LKG was there to enroll him for the education. Why am I actually living over here? So I started bargaining. No, no, he must not have gone. I must have died. See, I started bargaining. I didn't even have, in my case, I didn't have time to grieve because there are a lot of other things happens. It became a customary in the family that the son's family will come and demand. They started demanding so many things from me, and then I had to fight back. So many other things went on, but I didn't have the time to grieve. That I felt after a very long time. So for me, numbness was happening because if I'm going to grieve, what will happen to my children? Who will take care of them? See, cognitively, I took the charge, but emotionally, I made it down. For some of them, they get into a lot of depression. Maybe I was also equally depressed, but the work kept me going. There were loans. There are so many other financial crises. Now, whom to ask for money? Who will support my children? Will I be able? Will somebody will voluntarily come and help me? I have no idea. But something was there. I felt it as a hopeful, and I was though I was depressed. I felt let me do something on my part. So that's how I took it all. But emotionally, I didn't process, and I found lot of things coming up. I started going out. I invested my time to study. I did my master's in education. I did a lot of other courses, and still now I'm doing a lot of other learning as well. And, I tested. Okay, now he's not there. I used to dream about him all the time that he's coming to my dream, and there's so much of he's hugging me. See how much of feeling that I have towards this person. It only signifies I'll have love for him. But at the same time, I have to tender children to take care of. So this depression, and then I was started testing because this depression was also more about pertaining to unacceptance. I'm not ready to accept the fact that my husband is no more means my husband is no more. My relationship is not working means my relationship is not working. So hard statement, isn't it? It looks like one simple sentences, but it isn't. And slowly started accepting. The moment little bit of acceptance came, I started understanding that the world I need to lead the world all by my alone. So now let me build it up from the scratch. I started while doing some education. I again went back. I built up a new network. Then I've remarried. I'm now happily settled in my life. So why I'm giving you all such example is that we go through differently. So this model was being framed by Elizabeth Rose, Kubler Elizabeth Rose. So now she's an excellent person. What she mentioned was it starts from shock and leads to acceptance. But people also debated the fact that it need not be in a linear way. It can be anywhere. For sometimes they heard the news, they might completely become angry. They might start breaking things, throwing tantrums. For some of them, they can completely deny. No, I won't believe. For some of them, immediately depression. For some of them, no need. I will die now. I can't hear the news. Now let me go. So for each people, each things can happen. Yeah, it's a non-linear way. Correct. Now, if you notice, if you have pets at home, we used to have a lot of pets at home, and especially the cats. If you notice a cat is not well, is unwell, and it is, it just prefers to be isolated. It takes a corner of the room and just sits there or sleeps there. The other cats will all be around him, but they don't disturb him. But just they allow time for this particular cat to process the exactly the same thing that we need to. The time of the grief is equally important for all the family members, be it your parental side or you being it your in-law side, being it your colleagues, being it anybody, neighbors, or any of the community. It matters a lot that we are going to shower support. The support is a beautiful system. Elizabeth, yes. Yes, thank you, Tazin. Elizabeth Kubler Rose, correct. Sharad, I'm just muting you. Thank you. So now there is also a possibility that somebody also start feeling about the loss of an abusive spouse or parent. Now, in my case, it was a very loving spouse, and he took care of me like anything. For this 5 years is the most happiest moment that I ever experienced in my life. I'm still my mind goes, no. Again, it goes to comparison and all these things, but still, I feel that that's such a golden moment. For some people, the spouse could be abusive or there could be a critical parent, but still, when they die, we still grieve because there is some percentage of love or expectation about the other person. It could be also because some unfinished business that you have, the people. Maybe you wanted to say to them, hey, how much abusive you are, but you didn't have the chance to even express. You're so fearful. These are some 10 things that we not supposed to say to the people who grieve, but generally it is happening that people say these things. Let me read out for you. At least he lived a long life. No, many people dying. This way also people talk. He's in a better place. She brought in this on herself. It is all her mistake only. When I lost my husband, they said it is all her mistake because she was a bad luck. What bad luck and all? Nothing is work. Everything is good luck only. But I couldn't say that. But that moment, oh, it's because of me. See, now they reiterated the fact that the griever all will further become to, they become helpless and they start grieving more. There's a reason for everything. So spiritually, they say there's a reason for everything. Aren't you over him yet? It's been years since he has passed away. It has been years. My husband passed away for 14 years. But still, people say, it's been years, isn't it? But still, we grieve. You can have another child. Suppose the person who's a griever, he has lost a child. So it's very simple for them. You can have another child. Even they have, there was a case which happened that the couples happened to, uh, they delivered twins. One of the twin died immediately after the birth, and she had one surviving baby. What happened was everybody came around. You at least had one child. Don't try. You actually something good only happened. What if the some problems in the organs has been there? You would have been completely wasting your life. Something and all they kept on blabbing. But what people didn't understand is that whether it's one baby or two baby doesn't matter. A grief for the lady is a grief. Mm, yeah, yeah. Okay. So you can have another child still. She was such a good person. God wanted her to be with him. I know how you feel. So these are some of the things that people want to say. They do say 10 things that you can say to the people is, I'm so sorry for your loss. I wish I had the right words. Just know I care. I don't know how you feel, but I'm here to help you in any way I can. You and your loved one will be in my thoughts and prayers. My favorite memory of a loved one is, you can say that, I'm always just a phone call away. Just give a hug instead of saying something. You can just say something. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. I'm so sorry for sharing my experiences. I'm just thinking it will be useful for the context. You can also say that we all need help at times like this. I'm here for you. I'm usually early for or late. If you need anything, you can say like that also. But then also you can say, just say nothing. Be with the person is very simple as that. Okay. Right. So what we'll be doing is we have to only demonstrate that we care. Sometimes in our within our mind we keep it that we care for the person, but really the demonstration is a beautiful skill that we need to really take it forward. So share to care. When you know better, you do better. So when we really understand what grief is all about, then we will be able to do better. How many of you agree with this statement? Yeah. How many of you agree with this statement? When you know better, you do better. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And there is a golden mantra for this to really heal. Healing starts within ourselves. So the golden mantra is, you need to really, really feel that it is what it is. Whatsoever happened is happened and it is what it is. That's a golden mantra. At any point of time, we are not able to bring back whatever has happened, but the process of grieving gives you the strength. And it has given me the strength to do what I'm doing right now. It's not just to prove anybody else. Initially, I used to think, oh, I need to prove somebody else. But later on, I'm just really thinking. After a point of time, I thought, okay, now I'll prove to myself. For whom? Is there a need for me to really prove to anybody else? Is there any need for me to really prove to myself? No need. Whatever I'm doing just to focus only on the process and nothing else. Yes, the process has to be respected. Wonderful. Thank you. So this is one of the model. You can use it whenever you feel like. So one is called the tier model. The first is that you accept the reality of the loss. It's very difficult, really difficult and challenging. You take the help of a professional, be with them, and just take the accept the reality of the loss. Experience that the pain. Sometimes we think that I need not feel the pain. Don't even talk about it. I can't. I don't. I'm not ready to Really witness that. Oh, that place they'll be talking about it, let me not go there at all. Experience the pain of the loss, adjust to the new environment without the lost person. It's very practical. The person is not there doesn't mean that you cannot survive. It really means that get yourself adjusted to the environment without that person, without that particular job, without that pet, without the child. Just get adjusted. Maybe the loss of a place also, right? When you have been brought up in one particular place, but you shifted to some other place, that is also loss. Adjust yourself and reinvest into a new reality. And this one, forgiveness is something very, very useful for all of us. While we grieve, we also need to understand that while we grieve, we also put a blame on other person, saying that it is because of that mistake, because of such things has happened. But I would recommend that all of us can say this at least once. I forgive everyone. I forgive myself. I forgive everyone for whatever that I had to go through, for whatever things are happening. Let me forgive everyone. I forgive myself. I forgive all my past experiences. And every experience is experience, right? In forgiving everyone and forgiving myself, what's happening? I become free. I have nobody to blame. I have no need to blame anybody else. So this is one thing. This will be a food for your thought. These are some of the questions. What has this loss made you aware of? If a person is not there, what this loss has made you aware of? Has this incident changed any of your belief? I used to think that I'm very dependent, but it gave me the belief that I can be independent, isn't it? So it did change my belief. Do you think displaying emotions is a sign of weakness now? No, it's a sign of strength. It's time for us to really grieve. Take your time. That's for different people, different things can happen, but choose your own time. And do you think you're responsible for everything that has happened on time? Is there anything that anybody can say, I'm responsible for whatever happened, which is out of your control? Nobody's responsible. Certain things happen beyond my control. I thought my parents and my in-laws will be supporting me, but is it in my control? The moment we get such answers, isn't it? We'll be definitely able to reflect back. Yeah, what if I'm just taking the question here? What if you have to grieve alone because others don't understand or know how to grieve? You support with your hurtful comments. Yes, I'm coming to that. Yes. And what are the physical ailments do you have right now? If you're feeling arms are aching, if you have the headaches, what are just you're feeling? What can you do about it? So L. Groneman says grief is not a disorder, it's a disease, not a disease, not a sign of weakness. It's an emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity. But for that, the price that you pay is love. The only cure for grief is to grieve. Yeah. Yes, I'll definitely go to that particular slide. Just give me a moment. It's a very interesting question has come up. Then how to cope up, isn't it? That's a very interesting thing, part of the workshop itself. So how to grieve then? How I'm going to do or cope up with the loss? What can be done? So first and foremost thing is that what we need to do is give yourself permission to heal. Just like you can say it as an affirmation, I give myself permission to heal. Whatever happened, it could be anything, but whatever happened, I'm just giving my permissions to heal. You can also say some other affirmations like, all the love I need is within me. I'm the loving child of God. And we're grieving all alone. I can understand how much you feel sad. There's nobody. You just grieve. And I also appreciate that being strong to grieve for yourself. You can just simply say, I deserve to be loved and I love myself. At the emotional level, it's not only from the other people, it's like we feed into our system as well, make connections deeper. I'll be taking you through some meditation as well, but to answer her question, I just wanted to take you through 1 second. Yeah. Yes, all the love I have. And you can also say, healing is already in the process. My healing is already in the process. They all help a lot. I'm sorry to bother you again and again. Just let me know if you're able to see the picture slides. Okay, 1 second. Are you able to see?
Yes, it's
Yes. 1 second, sir. Okay, they're not opening up in the slideshow. It's going back. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. These are the 5 ways that you can help a grieving person. One, give them the support they wanted. Number two, if you don't find anybody who's understanding, who's not compassionate enough, just find a place for yourself, play some music, be with yourself. You can also start doing journaling work has helped me a lot. And sublimation, that's something that you can focus your energy on whatever you love to do. Something is equally important, right? I started my focusing on learning something new. That kept me and also gave me an additional inputs that I'm capable of. And you can also do something as called as in memoriam, maybe something that you could start for people to really explore, or for people to know. For example, in my husband's name, I do a lot of charity in his name, so that gives me a satisfaction that he is living through some people. I also do blood donation. I also donate for acid victims. So I keep doing a lot of other things, not just to prove that I'm a very good person, but for me, that satisfaction comes that this money is being utilized for a good cause. You can write a letter. If something is bothering you, start writing a letter. Just say, "Dear so and so, how much I miss you. I love you a lot. This is what is happening." You know what? Just like that, you converse, write up a letter. They're very helpful for all of us to really go through the grief. Sometimes you can talk to the people about maybe I'll be talking to their sister-in-laws or their friends. So I get to know about even his more good things that he has. Probably he likes some food, something very special, and he used to enjoy those things with his friends. Probably one of his friends I can call and ask, what does he liked? What is that he used to spend time? What sort of topics that he used to speak about? So something that if you're going to talk about it, that is also very relieving for all of us. So these are some of the ideas, and always see whenever we are processing the grief, more of exhaustion can happen both mentally and physically. So choose some time to really meditate. That's some form of a silence meditation. So I'll be taking 2 minutes of your time. Will it okay, Umeshji?
that is absolutely fine, Tulsi.
Okay. So I'm just inviting you, everybody, to just close your eyes while I'm going to play the music. Please close your eyes. Now the scenario is you can also bring back all the people that you would like to acknowledge them for the presence they made in your life, and everybody is there for a reason spiritually, yes, and everything may not happen in our favor. Let's accept that as well. So right now, pick up the person whom you would like to acknowledge, whom you would like to heal. You can also choose to pay respect to Queen Elizabeth if you'd like to, or anybody who has recently passed away and you feel their virtue is a blessing to our world. So any person, it could be a family member, it could be a neighborhood or a celebrity, it could be anybody. Just think about those persons, keep them in your mind, breathe in and breathe out, slowly and deeply. Focus completely on your breath. Bring your focus on your breath. When you inhale bold, just inhale deeply, and then slowly release. Beautiful. While I'm going to play this music, just relax, just for 2 minutes. Take your time for yourself and listen. Within your mind, you can also say words of gratitude or thanks for such souls who have been a part of our life. And thank yourself for the wonderful experiences you had during that particular time. Maybe you are completely enjoying the job or a career, your home, your family. If you feel like, you can also ask for forgiveness. Be in this space, sense the silence within your body and your mind. You're entirely calming yourself. And every time, whenever you think about the person or the job or the pet, or it could be any of your attribute, acknowledge the fact that how beautifully you've evolved now. Beautiful. With the word of thanks to yourself and for all the virtual people who have been over here, you may again focus on your breath, inhale and exhale, and slowly come back to the space. So, one more super formula is that just because you had a loss, it doesn't mean that we have lost it. Honor boundaries, be empathetic yourself, start seeing goodness in everything. There's always an opportunity for us to excel. Take time to love yourself and others. Can become an inspiration. When the person who was completely, I was crying like anything, I was cribbing over many things. Now I see myself as a changing person. So am I just giving a lot of chances to myself to really excel? These are some of the books that I would like to recommend. One is You Can Heal Your Heart by Louise A. and David Kessler. That's such a wonderful read. Find Meaning, David Kessler is also there. There's also a book by Viktor Frankl about the meaning. When you find there is a meaning in your living, you find a meaning in your purpose, everything becomes easy. In a world where people wanted to hear only good things, let's stand apart and just become a tree like to shower love and support to all the people. On Grief and Grieving is again by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler. And Thich Nhat Hanh, No Mud, No Heart, and Elizabeth Kubler on Death and Dying Itself. Man's Search for Meaning is a wonderful book. So I just recommend that you can all do this. So she is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Extremely grateful for this person. She has been criticized for the work because she said it was a lenient model, but it isn't. However, I really appreciate the effort she brought in, because otherwise grief would have been completely unnoticed by many of us. We would have marked grief as a very bad emotion, but it isn't. Grief gives you the strength. So what she said was, I've told my children that when I die, just release the balloons in the sky to celebrate that I have graduated. For me, death is a graduation. Such a beautiful statement she's given. So with this, thank you so much. I think I've taken much of your time. So this is my ID. So feel free to contact me. I'm open to questions if any.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for that wonderful presentation and
Thank you.
insight into coping with grief.
Thank
Um, I'm going to stop recording now, and
you.
uh, yeah, I'm going to stop recording.